Hey everybody, Scott Jansen here. Welcome to another 100K coaching program student interview. Today we have the amazing Robina with us. Robina has such an incredible story. You can see her smiling and laughing already because what she has done, guys, in the first 4 to 5 weeks of this program, I think you've set the record for not only the amount of success, how quickly you've moved through this, how quickly you found your niche, but also the income that you're making now. And best of all, there's a couple of little surprises that I'm sure Robina's going to reveal as well, which is beyond what we thought she could do. So that is incredible. She has really set the bar high. So as per usual, my absolute pleasure to have you here, Robina. So thank you so much for agreeing to do an interview.
Thank you, Scott. That's a wonderful introduction. I'm well chuffed.
Well, let's go from the start because people definitely need to hear about your story. So let's go back before you even got into your type of therapy, before you studied. What were you doing? What was going on in life?
Okay, so my background is nursing. I went into nursing aged 18 and I stayed there for 30 plus years. I'm dual trained. I trained in physical health, mental health nursing. I swear I had ADHD when I was younger because I'd be in somewhere for like 2-3 years, then I'd move to somewhere else. So literally I've got all these but different disciplines in different areas. So I ended up collating this massive skill set of 30 years worth of nursing. And January 2018, I had this kind of crisis, if you like, this midlife crisis. So it was coming in June 2018, it would have been 30 years that I'd started nursing. And I just thought to myself, I can't do another 30 years in nursing. I don't have 30 years to give to nursing. My body is packing up. I'm starting to get physical health problems. Mentally, I could carry on doing nursing all day. I love it. I love the clinical stuff. And with my kind of area of expertise, I should be technically be in management. But because I love the clinical work so much, I didn't want to go in management. And people are a pain in the arse to manage. So I didn't want to do that either. So I sat there thinking, I've got all this skill set. What the hell am I going to do with it? I need to take something forward. I can't stay in nursing. I've got to, look at something else. I wasn't prepared to go backwards and restart my career. I was like, what can I do with my existing skill sets and just kind of significantly move myself forward out of nursing? Because, over 30 years, I've seen the NHS go to pieces. My salary's gone backwards. It's just difficult. It was difficult. So I kind of put the feelers out, and I've been into personal development for a long time. And then I follow, personal development gurus online, and these things kept popping up about like hypnotherapy and RTT. And I'm like, what the hell's RTT? And so I kind of dived into looking about hypnotherapy, no idea what it was. And I thought, right, okay, maybe this is down to my problems and I can transfer my skill sets because, you can learn it fast. I've got this massive background. Let's get on it. So that was in, by January. By the end of March, I'd done the training. So it was like literally within the space of 3 months, I jumped onto the course, maxed out my credit card. I didn't have the money to pay for it. So I ended up becoming an RTT therapist. That was 2 years ago.
So you did the training. So what was it about like RTT and hypnotherapy and I guess personal development in general? What intrigued you about, this side of this weird world that we're in?
My background story, I've got a backstory, abuse of how I was raised. I went into domestic violence relationships. I went into 2, not just 1. So at the second time, I was like, you're the common denominator in all of this. What the hell is going on? So that's kind of set me on this trail as if to say, right, okay, I need to really sort myself out. I can't be attracting this. Financially, I grew up in, if you look at the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it was a poor dad environment, immigrant parents, that third world country mentality about money. So I had these kind of programs going on. I was like, I can't be doing these programs anymore. I knew I was so uncomfortable. I had to go and do something. So that was, and I've been on that trail easy 10-15 years.
Okay. So it was more about just healing yourself. I mean, if it was that far back, you had no intention. You probably weren't even thinking about running a business or anything like that. Okay. So did that help you with the nursing side of things? Like to be able to cope with, I can only imagine the stress and stuff that you had.
Nursing has, although I bitch and moan about it, it's been the one constant throughout my life, I have to say. And during the times that my personal life has crashed down, it was my stability.
Right.
So, and I'm really grateful for the knowledge and the experience that I've gained. It's you can't buy that stuff. Seriously, I'm really grateful to it. Yeah.
So when you got into RTT and hypnotherapy, so that all came about, you started to see hypnotherapy and RTT. What made you think, like you said, you maxed out your credit card, couldn't afford it. What made you think like, I have to do this no matter what?
because physically and mentally, what nursing was doing to me was just ridiculous. It was like, my kind of idea was to drop part-time nursing and build my business up. But, you know, I had such a culture shock when it came to actually setting and you know, the realistic things of what a business entails. I had no idea. And then but nursing was taking up so much of my energy, mentally and physically. I was doing 12, 13, 14-hour shifts that turned into, you know, 15, 16-hour days. Physically, I would go home absolutely in bits. You know, my days off, I would be spent in bed. Literally, I would be eat, sleep, work. I wouldn't even see my children. And I thought, right, I'm just going to get burnt out. There's just going to be nothing left of me here, you know. And I would have to be, you know, if I stayed in nursing, I would have to limp another 10 years till I could get my pension.
Right.
I was literally on my knees. When I came to you, I was on my knees. I was, honestly, Scott, I was on my knees.
Yeah, I could tell you were pretty close to either being broken or you'd gone that other side, because we had a very in-depth conversation.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I was broken. I'll be honest. I was absolutely broken. And, you know, about a year after I qualified in RTT, it's this huge culture shock. And literally, you know, what I've learned from your program is that our journey is no different from our client journey. Your social media is this sea of noises about people plugging their wares, and, you know, and there are snake oil merchants out there and everything. You know, a year ago, I came to the conclusion, I can't do this on my own. I need some sort of business mentor. And you don't actually know this, but about May, June this time last year, I kind of identified 2 mentors that I wanted to work with, and you were one of them.
Right.
But I actually went with the RTT coach, and she was rubbish, absolute rubbish. So, you know, I've floundered then for another year. Literally, I got to my knees, honestly, and that's what I said to you. By the time I got to you, I was desperate, but I'd already made the decision that I was going to get the course.
Yeah.
Because when I spoke to you, if you remember, I'd been off social media for 6 months.
Yeah, I remember.
I lost faith in everything, running a business, everything, and I dragged myself back into nursing, thinking I couldn't run a business. I didn't know how to do it.
So like a year ago, when you qualified in the hypnotherapy and the RTT, you would have been excited. You've learned an incredible skill. When did you think, like when you joined the program, did you have the idea that is this like, am I learning RTT for myself, or am I learning RTT for a business opportunity as well? What were you thinking?
Definitely a bit of both, definitely, because, you know, as therapists, healing yourself is an ongoing journey. The more you heal yourself, the more you're able to give to your clients, and it's a feedback loop, isn't it? So I take that very seriously, but also I kind of, like I said, I need an exit point I needed an exit point out of nursing. I knew I couldn't cope with it, but the reality is that just because you have this piece of paper, this certificate, who gives a shit? Nobody cares.
Yeah. I think I said to you that on the phone as well.
Yeah. I've had all this career, it's all career and employee qualifications. But when it comes to business, none of that shit matters. You know, when you look at your 80-20, the rule is, I was doing 20% seeing clients, but I didn't know the 80% doing the business side of things.
That's what's in the program.
Learned. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what I needed from your program, because I was just like floundering around in the dark. Trying to find somebody who could actually show me, yes, I can make a viable business out of this.
So what were you doing a year ago, got qualified, decided it was the business? What were you doing to try and get clientele?
Facebook, like joining groups and stuff, trying to go out and do like the long marketing, doing like your message, your elevator pitch and all that, blah, blah, blah. And for me, that was too slow. It was too slow and too long-winded. I need somebody who was going to say, right, you got to do this, this, and this. Cut the crap. I say, right, okay. I love it because this is how you talk. This is how I need somebody to talk to me. I said that to you on our strategy call. Just talk to me straight. Cut the crap. Tell it how it is. Robina, you've got to do this, this, and this, and you'll get this, this, and this result. Okay. That's what I needed to hear.
So you're doing like random things, obviously what most people do, because that's all we're really exposed to. Like I'll do the business card, I'll do the flyers, I'll go speak to people, bit of social media, I'll talk about my story online. Hopefully someone resonates, maybe give some free stuff away. So you're doing this. When did you realize like, shit, this is not working? And you know what? I've either wasted a lot of time and money, or I'm going to have to go back to nursing. What happens?
Yeah, so it was 2 years ago, March, I qualified in RTT. So about a year later, I was thinking, I can't do this. I can't make a business out of this. And there was this statistic that I'd heard about, you know, 90+% of businesses fail within the first 2 years. So I got this in the back of my head thinking, oh shit, you're a failure, you failed, blah, blah, blah. And literally, like I said, I closed everything. I didn't do a hypnotherapy session. I just went into hiding, basically.
Okay, so you actually quit the whole idea.
Quit the whole idea. Didn't do a hypnotherapy session for 6 months. I took all my apps off, took myself off social media. I was like, right, that's it. And the only way I had a connection to you was because I was on your email list. And when I got to the stage, it must have been a few weeks ago, a month or so at work, when I was begging my manager for £1 pay rise, I thought, what the fuck are you doing, Robina?
Really?
You spent all this money doing RTT, making this big stance that you're going to go and be a hypnotherapist, that you're going to have your own business up, and you are going like Oliver Twist in the movie, please sir, can I have some more?
Yeah.
That's how I'm behaving. That's how I'm having this dialogue with myself.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh my God, this can't happen. You took this massive step, invested this huge amount, thousands. It cost me about 12k, which was 24k Australian altogether, to do this course, this RTT. So I had massive amounts of debt. And then, right, I can't. Are you going to be this 90% statistic that fails, or are you actually going to get off your ass and do something? And about this time was when I started noticing your emails. It wasn't that your emails weren't coming through to me. I was looking at them and completely ignoring them. And then I started noticing your emails, and I was looking at the numbers that your students were making, and they were like Mickey Mouse numbers. Honestly, I was like, are these numbers for real? I couldn't compute them in my head.
Everybody says that, yeah. But now, unfortunately, or fortunately, you're one of them. And you're right at the top now, which is crazy.
I cannot believe. Yeah.
Were you actually getting paying clients, through the other stuff you were trying?
Yeah, very, very hit and miss. I tried corporate. I tried getting into corporate nursing because I knew, if I could get a leg in, that is so difficult. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm dealing with all this freaking shit baggage in my head. You know what I mean? Every single day I was trying to show up, and it just got too much for me because, I'm a single parent, got a mortgage, 2 children, commitments. I will never be out of work as a nurse. And, hand on my heart, I'm really grateful for that. As a single parent, you're always scared about finances, blah, blah, blah. So I always knew that was a backdrop. It was a comfort zone and it was a cushion, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for me. I wasn't getting the recognition that I knew I needed to get. And my skills weren't being used in the way that I feel that they should have been used. There's too much constraints and red paper in the health service. I'm really sorry about that. So that was one of the reasons I couldn't help people the way I wanted to help people. That's one of the reasons why I looked into RTT and thought, I need a faster way. I need less red tape. Let's just cut the crap. People are waiting for 20 weeks through the NHS to get counselling and therapy. 20 weeks. Somebody's suicidal today, and you have to sit there and say, sorry, but you've got to wait 20 weeks. No way. I can't do that. It's too painful.
Yeah. But again, you have to be able to survive as a business owner to be able to help those people. It's a lot of people don't understand as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I remember your post that you put on about this empty dinner plate. Yeah,
we got a lot of heat from that, but it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's so true. It's so true.
So what was it like to go back to nursing? Like, what was that morning like or afternoon when you thought, the business has failed? You haven't failed, of course, but the business has, because you just didn't know what to do. Absolutely. What was it like to go back to nursing and possibly think like, this is probably it for me?
It was like having this huge weight around my neck and dragging this weight. I was so miserable and so depressed. It was awful. I knew it wasn't where my future lied. I knew I was just doing it to pay the bills. It felt awful. Yeah.
Okay. So fast forward a little bit. We had our strategy call. What were you hoping? I always say this, but I really wish I could record you guys on the strategy call, especially yourself, of how broken you were. Like, now I'm looking at you smiling. I don't think I heard you smile and laugh on the phone. I haven't seen you like this at all.
Not at all.
Because I saw the old Robina where we're broken, nothing's working. I'm back to a shit job. I love the work, but I'm back to a place where I'm not happy. Yeah. When you booked the strategy call, what were you hoping to get from it?
I'd already made up my mind, because like I said to you, I'm a procrastinator. I know these things, you know what I mean? So the mind hacks that I know is one trick in order to get over procrastination is feed your mind as much information as you can. So I just fed my mind. I'd done like a pros and cons list. I did a list of me as a therapist, me as a nurse. It was like night and day. So I was giving my mind all this information. And like I say, I'd kind of been looking at your stuff anyway. And I was looking at the numbers, and I didn't doubt your course. It was me that I doubted. It was like, am I going to be able to get those results?
Yeah, can I do this?
Yeah, can I do this? But like I say, when I come to you, I was on my knees. Anyway, I had nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. So, yeah.
So we had our strategy call. You had a lot of questions, which is, it's supposed to happen that way, because I could tell the way you were on the phone. I guess we're speaking to so many people, and you probably hear this with your clients as well. You can sort of read between the lines. You can tell how broken people are, how desperate people are. So, we had our call. I told you it was all about. I definitely told you there's a lot of work. We have to break down your entire business model. None of this free stuff, none giving away challenges, not going to Facebook groups and trying to help people for free, not showing up just to Facebook Lives and social media just for the sake of it. There's a process, there's a system. Did you have your questions answered on the strategy call? Like, what was it like to think, oh my God, I've just jumped into another program? What was that like?
To me, it was just confirmation of what I needed. Because I'd actually bought your Therapy MAXIMISER playbook about December last year, November, December. But the only way I can describe it, looking back with hindsight now, is it's like starting a subject topic 3 books in. When I started the 100K coaching, and you start from the beginning, not only do you start from the beginning, you start from the prequel to the beginning. You give us the psychology of it. This is why I love your program. I love you for this, Scott. Absolutely. Because it's like the idiot's guide, but the psychology with the idiot's guide.
That used to be me. That's why I made it that way. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, I'm in week 2. Week 2 is my reference library, because there's still stuff in week 2 that I've got to get out of my own head to do. So, like I say, I knew that because I'd been following your stuff, and this is how you were, this is how I think. I'm very black and white. I'm very logical. I'm very left brain. Nursing is clinical. It's rational. In nursing, you are taught, if you're doing something, you need to know the rationale for why you're doing it.
Otherwise, there's a process, isn't there? Like, do this, then this, then this, then this.
Yes. Yeah. And that is exactly what your course gave to me. I was like, I love you. Every time you talk about, when you spoke about fractals, oh my God, Scott, I was sold, because I have studied fractals years ago. I was like, it's another weirdo like me who understands fractals. That's it. Talk to me about fractals. I'm yours. I'm sold. That was it. That was it. Because honest to God, I can see the depth that you put into this program, the iterations that you make, the levels. I have never seen a program that goes into that depth, and you understand the psychology. You're a therapist yourself. You're all-round ace. I love you for it.
Excellent. So you dived into the program. That's me blushing, by the way, folks. So you moved into the program, and week 1 is definitely, like, a lot of people get into week 1 and they go, Scott, how do I get clients? If you don't master week 1, understand the fractals, you don't understand that there's a building stage, there's a momentum stage. We have to make you anti-fragile, which means that if you get haters, you can deal with it. It is that psychology of becoming a business owner. You can't just do business. You've got to become it. You've got to understand how it's going to work. Like, if I do a Facebook Live today, it probably won't show up as a client till next month, and you have to be okay with that and moving through all of that. So you dived into week 1, and obviously we talk about the niche as well, the pricing, the structure of your program. Let's talk about the niche that you decided on, because obviously on the phone when we first talked before the program, you were, like most people, all over the place. I'll just help anybody with everything. What's the niche you decided on, and how come that niche?
I suppose the niche actually came to me because of the clientele that I was attracting over the years. And psychology is my passion. I'm not qualified in psychology, but I'm qualified in mental health nursing. So I attracted those kind of clients. So it was majority female. So I thought, let me just dive into this. And so what I do now is I help women overcome depression without medication or therapy or years of therapy. It's like, who's got years and years to do this stuff? We haven't. I've seen it heard before. It's in your program. If you've got toothache, you haven't got weeks and weeks to go to a dentist. You want the bloody thing out now. You want to do the MOS. You want to do it in as little time with as best efficient quality service as possible. And that's me. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. What a contrast to working in mental health, where you said 20 weeks. compared to your healing clients within like a
4
week or
weeks.
so?
I've literally put a testimonial on my page today. 4 weeks I worked with this client with depression. Go and have a look on the testimonial. She's blown me out of the water. 4 weeks.
What's that like for you? Compare, like, contrast 20 weeks to 4 weeks, a quarter of the time. What's that like for you?
Honestly, it's just, if I can heal people, if they can put the work in, because believe you me, it's not just all about me. It's a two-way street. They have to put the work in. People are happy and smiling, and it just lifts me. It's amazing to see. It's so lovely to see the results and transformations, and you think, yeah, actually, this is my vocation. This is what I want to do, and I'm getting my clients are proof that I'm getting the results for them. So yeah, it's working.
Yeah. So you started to set up the business around this niche, which is obviously what we do. Let's fast forward only a tiny bit when you got your first paying client at, you know, the way that we tell you to do and for the price and the service. I remember the message. You know, it's cool because me and Robina are on different time zones. So I'd regularly wake up to another client's got, another client's got, another client's got. What was it like to get your first client and realize, shit, I've actually done this?
Yeah. So before I spoke to you, I just kind of I'd sold a hypnotherapy session because I hadn't done one for 6 months for 150 quid. I said to you, and 2 weeks into your program, I'd 10x my price and sold it for 1,500 quid.
Wonderful. That's nearly $3,000 Australian.
Yeah, like, I'm coming up, so you better get this party started.
Once the coronavirus, you're flying up. What was that like for you to get to validate all that hard work, 20 years experience in mental health, your own sanity, your own belief you can do this? What was that like?
It was amazing, such a buzz. Literally, it was just, I'm like just a rocket taking off, a fuel rocket taking off. Like, I've arrived, I can do this. It was validation to me that I can actually do this. Those Mickey Mouse numbers, I can put my name next to.
You're right at the top. We've got you right at the top of the testimonials now, because it's not once, it's been like 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I think the first client, a lot of people don't realize that first client, there's no words that can explain, like, I just did it. Like, that's the best feeling in the world, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got this client coming in, obviously showing value because they're giving you testimonials. So it's obviously working. They're happy with the price. They're seeing the value. You're moving through the program. What did you start to notice moving into? So week one's mastered. That's the only way you can tell if your niche is correct, if you get a paying client. Not likes, shares, oh, Robina, you're awesome. Thanks for the free info. Here's my credit card. I'm ready to pay now. What was it like moving into week 2 and really starting to grasp what a business is like for you?
Week 2 just blew my head. You could take week 2 and sell it as a standalone program for the price that you charge for the whole thing, because that is it. Like I say, it's my reference point, it's my library, it is my go-to for building a business. Everything you want is in week 2, and I'm literally still sat in week 2. Although I've kind of looked forward to week 3 and 4, I know that I need to master and get the things in week 2 up and running that I need to get up and running. For me. So yeah, I'm very much firmly still in week 2, and it's taken me weeks. And I will take my time through week 2, because that's, to me, it's setting up the fractals, it's putting my foundations and infrastructure in place, and I need to take the time to do that foundation. It's
designed that way. You could spend probably 6 months on week 2 and only just grasp it, because there's so much to do. You're building the fractals, you're building momentum. For you, what's it like now? I know we talked on the strategy call before, and you said, look, I've got no plan. I don't know what I'm doing each day. I just sort of arrive at my business and hope something works. What's it like now to have a clear plan? Like, this time I do this, this time I do this, this time I do this. What's that like for you?
Look at my diary.
Oh, brilliant. That's what I like to see. Brilliant. Rather than just empty spaces.
Iterated. I have iterated my diary. You have given me that structure, that framework that I needed, because I had no structure to my day. I did not know what I was doing. And that, I can look at that. I've no excuse to be sitting around, because I can look at my diary and say, right, at this time you should be doing this, 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 and this. Literally, like I said, it's the dummy's guide.
Yeah, it's like, push this button, say this word, so you don't have to think anymore. You just do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I love it. It's giving me structure to my day. And, you know, that's what I love about you as well, Scott, is that you talk about structure to your life and cleaning. And I didn't even have an environment. Remember, I told you I started my business from my bed. I had to create an environment. Creating an environment really gave me that boost that I needed. You know, definitely. Don't underestimate the necessity of it.
Yeah, it's part of the input, process, output system. That system lives inside an environment that's part of the system as well. Because if you're not motivated to work, not motivated to show up and do something with this business, it's not going to work for you.
Absolutely. So I love it. I love it. My brain is so much calmer.
Yeah, you're a business owner now. What's it like to get control over this thing now compared to what it was?
The difference is night and day, Scott, honestly. And it's validation that you as an individual have the capability and the skills to become an entrepreneur and a business owner, given the right program. And that's what your program actually does. It's what, it's what you need. It's what you need if you're in the therapy world. There's nothing like, I've seen no program like it. The depth, the in-depth that you go in this program, other programs don't even scratch the surface. Because, in the last 2 years, I bought programs on social media, marketing, copywriting, all that shit. It might as well have been in Chinese for what I understood of it, So your program, it just makes sense to me.
Beautiful.
Much sense. Yeah,
so my pleasure. What else has been happening in your life and as a business owner as well? You knew I was going to get there. So what's been happening recently?
Right. Okay. So a couple of things that I was not expecting happened to me. A few weeks ago, I was approached by a guy who's on my friends list. I don't even know, but he's a self-made Canadian millionaire, and he wants to do a collaboration with me about a free webinar on COVID-19 and anxiety and stress. But who the hell is this guy? I didn't even know who he was. I had to Google him. Bless him.
Beautiful. Look at that.
And then my Instagram account, which has been dormant since last year, somebody sent me a message from Instagram and saying, we want you to be an influencer on our show. And they've got like 375,000 followers. And I sent it to you saying, well, my God.
What do I do? That's that fractal out of control again. Yeah.
Yeah. And third thing that you don't know about is that my group is being talked about in 3 continents all over the world. I had no idea. People have been talking about my group and wanting to come in my group, and this girl actually left another mental health group, and she's a moderator, and it was like nearly 4,000 people she was moderating, and she's now moderator of my group, so I've got a group moderator out of it as well.
Just like that.
Honestly, I can't believe it. It was amazing.
Do you see what happens when you find the right niche? Absolutely. Compared to where you were before, which was all over the place? These things can't evolve, and they can't be born from just a niche where it's just scattered all over the place. I don't know what to do. I don't know who I'm helping. I don't know how to serve. I don't know my prices. That stuff can't stem from. Now, sure, your certification might say you're an expert, but if people don't recognize it online or see you outside of your certification, you're just another therapist and another coach. But what you've done is just solidified that small part of the market. It's not small, it's large, but to put your foot there. And now within weeks, you're now being viewed by other experts who are now asking you to help them and be a part of their business.
Yeah. And I think what's so important about niching, because you don't know this, but I rolled your eyes when you spoke to me about niching. I was like, if I hear another bloody word about
everyone
niching,
says that, yeah.
But the beauty of it is, nobody explains niching like you do. That's at the start. But the beauty of it is you laser focus so much. I will see now clients. Years ago, I would look at a client and think, I can help you, I can help you, I could help everybody. Because ultimately, I had the nursing background to help them. So I could. But now I've niched. It's like I'm very, very selective. Although I can help other people who are asking for help, I'll say, no, that's not my specialty. It's not my niche. This is what I'll do. And also as well, I won't, if I feel a strategy call is not worth going for a sale, I won't go for a sale. I wasn't like that before. You've given me the confidence to be able to do that. So yeah, Beautiful. Thank you.
So moving in through the program, still on week 2, as most people will stay there for a long time. What are you starting to envision for your business, maybe moving like 3 to 6 months from now? What are you hoping to achieve? What are you aiming for?
Well, I nearly done a 10K Australian month. It was like 9K Australian, wasn't it? So yeah, that considering I didn't fully understand what I was doing.
It still worked, yeah.
It still worked. Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is probably 10K, months, and then go for 10K weeks. So I'm quite happy to just sit here where I am, because for me, it's such a huge weight off my head that I can actually make money and I don't have to be in nursing. I don't have to go and do a corporate job. I don't have to deal with that stress. Hats off to my, co-workers in healthcare. I take my hat off to them. They're doing an amazing job, but that's not for me anymore. I want to help people in the way I want to help people. So
this is a full time for you now.
It's full time for me. There's no going. We haven't even spoken about giving my job up, have we?
Yeah, let's get to that. I actually forgot myself. We want to get to that. So let's do that now, because that's important. What was that day like for you? Because I remember you sent me the message.
We were talking. It was like late at night, and I was thinking, it was like 12:30, 12:25. I was thinking, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it. I've made money. I've proven to myself I can do this. I have a viable business. I do not want to beg people for another £1 an hour. So, oh man, it was I'd pre-typed the text off.
How much were you making as a nurse per hour?
£17 an hour, which was absolutely, although it's good in some circles, it's shit for my level of knowledge.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So there's really a cap of what you can do. I get some people need to be employed and love being employed. I get that. It's definitely not for me. It's not for other people as well. Yeah. What's the difference now? Like you're hitting nearly $10,000. It's actually a little bit over $9,000 Australian in 1 month compared to 17 or what is that, $30 odd an hour.
Yeah. Honest to God, that's just like chump change. Honestly, it's just like silly money. It's silly money but also I know I'm worth a higher rate now.
Of course.
I appreciate that. Like I say, and it's not just that, it's what you give out for it, and I can give out for
30 years experience is not worth $30 an hour.
Absolutely. And that is why I have that kind of confidence as a therapist, because let's face it, physical health or mental health, majority of our problems are either physical or mental health. I have the skill set to deal with both. Happy days. Come to me, I'll sort you out.
So what's it like now, waking up in the morning, no job? Or you purposely, when I say no job, you've got a career now, you've got something you can grow. Yeah. What's the difference just in lifestyle and the mentality for you now? Like, I wish again I could show you guys what Robina was like before compared to now. I didn't hear her laugh or smile before. What's it like now to be able to get up, have a viable business, and basically do what you want to do?
Honestly, so much freedom. It's time freedom. It's time freedom. It's not necessarily about the finances. It's about the fact that you are your own boss. You get up at your own time. If you don't get off your ass and come to your office and work, you don't earn money. You know what I mean? It's like adult learning. You have to be an adult about it. You take your own responsibility. But it's like going to prison. Honestly, God, it's like going and clocking in and being in a prison for 12, 13 hours. I can't describe it any other way. And that is just giving yourself that freedom. And the bonus is obviously you're earning X amount more, than you were before. So it's brilliant. Thank you.
Love it. So like you said, 6 months from now, we're going to aim for the 10 grand months to then 10 grand weeks. And you can already see, like, getting to a 10 grand week, people go, that's impossible. But if you can get to your first 10 grand month, you just have to double what you did to get there. Now you're doing 20 grand months, which is 5 grand a week, double that again. And again, it's all that fractals. It's the stuff that built up momentum we talk about. It's mastering social media. That week 2 will drive you to 10 grand weeks. So you've got to prepare yourself for that. And then we scale again and again and again. So go ahead.
No, I think for me, I have to push myself every single day because I still have that silly voice in my head, those doubts. I've got imposter syndrome. I've got perfectionism, procrastination, all that shit going on in my head. So literally, like I say, I still have to push myself every day. And there's still things in week 2 that I'm not comfortable with doing, although I now have set myself deadlines to actually sit down and do them. So like you said to me on the phone, it's going to be hard, but compared to physically humping people around in nursing, it's a different kind of hard. I'd rather sit here and have this hard than physically have to manually handle people at work.
Yes,
definitely.
Absolutely. So what do you think would have happened? Where do you think you'd be? I mean, it hasn't been a long time you've been on this program. If you hadn't have joined, what would you be back in nursing? Would you have given up and done something else? What do you think?
I would literally probably be still in nursing. I would be hanging, but still in nursing. Unhappy, miserable. Like I said, that thing that I did was upstairs, me as a therapist and me as a nurse. Literally, it's like night and day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm miserable. I cannot be managed, you know, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be autonomous. That's it. It's giving me autonomy.
Mm.
You know, I can come and go. I can do as I please, and it's responsibility. It's my responsibility to do this. You know, and not only that, I prove to my children. Like I say, I'm a single parent. I prove to my children, hey, you know, mom can do this. We can do this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So
Yeah,
now you become almost like a role model for your children and family as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
and that's
Especially
definitely
with, you know,
priceless.
yeah, the atmosphere as it is, people are so scared. You know, people are losing their jobs, they've gone into fear. People are killing themselves, you know, domestic violence rates are going up. It's a shame. It's sad out there. So,
and I think everyone needs to realize this as well. And this is a situational thing. Robina's doing this through this coronavirus thing. She quit her job through coronavirus. She is making nearly 10 grand months through the coronavirus, and she's not the only one. And this really attributes to the niche, showing up each day, doing the right thing, having a plan, and just attacking the business, just knowing what you need to do each day, and then giving people what they need rather than where you were before, which is probably just, I want to show up, be happy, give some motivation out, and everybody will come to me. It doesn't work like that.
You know, the biggest thing for me is that, sorry, there's something come up on my screen, I do apologize. As a nurse, it's like, let me help you, let me help you, let me help you, or come here, let me model color you. And you're allowed to do that as a nurse. As a therapist, as a business owner, do that. It's business suicide. Business suicide. You can't do it. So that is a big thing for me. You know what I mean? I have this like, let me help you caring streak, but I have to make a sale and do a business as well. So, you know, there's that dynamic going on. Definitely.
Yeah, you've got to juggle both parts of that evolution. You have to juggle the caring and sensitive side when they're sitting in front of you. But the business is ruthless. It requires you to have thick skin and be, you know, anti-fragile and learn to take criticism and show up each day and motivate. And you're learning that now. And I cannot stress, you're only like 6 weeks into this. Like you're not even scratching the surface of what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
So what's the biggest thing you have learned, even just as a business owner through just your evolution through this course and growing the business? What's the one thing that you really can count on?
That I can do it. That if I can do it, anybody else can do it. You know what I mean? You know, it's so logical. It makes sense. It's so sequential to me. Your program, like I said, it's like the idiot's guide, the dummy's guide to learning how to do a therapy business. The only reason you will get it wrong is if you don't follow the instructions. It's that simple.
Yeah.
You know.
So what advice would you have for people to, you know, that are still on the fence, not even about my program, but just on the fence that, can I really do this? Can I be a successful therapist or a coach?
If I can do it with all these programmings, like my upbringing, abuse, you know, violence, everything, all that shit that I went through with my backstory. And I'm a procrastinator. I told you, I procrastinate. You know, but I'm saying to other people, don't procrastinate. Don't wait 2 years after your certification like I did. Jump in. You will not regret doing this program. I promise you, I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt, got burnt, spent money, the lot.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Buy the program. Don't hesitate. Get the free stuff nowadays that you're giving out. Honestly, God, is amazing. You know what I mean? Even just get into it. Looking at the free stuff. Go on the email list. Do your research if that's the sort of person you are. I'm the sort of person that will do the research, but definitely buy the program. Do not procrastinate. Don't wait like I did. Get the fuck on with it. Just do it.
Just what did Sophie say? JFD. Just fucking do it. Yeah.
Just fucking do it. Just
I think we need to make some t-shirts with that as an acronym.
I didn't even have the money. Remember, I didn't even have the money to pay for the program.
I remember.
But I was desperate, and you knew I think you heard I was on my knees. Do it. I don't care if you've not got the money. You will find. I found the money. I don't know where it came from. I didn't have it at the time. The money came to me. If you make a decision, the money will come. It's that simple. Just do it.
And you made 10 times ROI that back in 4 weeks.
Absolutely. Like I said to you, just week 2 alone is worth the whole cost of the program. Just week 2 alone, for the value that you give, for the cost of the program, unbelievable. It's worth more than 10 times much that.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
My pleasure. So for anybody watching this who's interested in actually working with Robina, I mean, you can't get her skill set and her knowledge anywhere else. Let me know, Robina, like, who's the type of client you're working with? What's the end result that you can provide for these people, and how can they find you?
Yeah, it's women. I'm targeting women really about 30 to 50, depressed, but alongside depression comes anxiety and other mental health issues. It's just, you know, the one of the many. And I'm on social media. And I mean, honestly, Scott, I didn't even have a website. My website got taken down. So I've made this without even having a website. I will look at putting that back up. So yeah, I'm definitely on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm more on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Beautiful.
So we'll leave you all the links. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll put all the links below, guys, for anybody who's watching this who does want to work with Robina. And I highly recommend, if you are suffering from these mental health issues, don't sit back. Don't think you can work it on yourself. Go hire a professional like Robina. I'll leave her links below, guys, in the description. Go check that out. But Robina, I'm going to let you go. That was incredible. Thank you so much. Hearing you smile and laugh has been the best part of my day so far. So well done. But as always, yeah, keep going, keep taking action. We'll see you in the group. Thank you so much, Robina. We might even do a follow-up story on you in a couple of months' time to see how you're doing. But we'll be a chat very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Robina. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.